This is day 341. A followed process is best. I have a lifetime of experience creating processes. It seems if my work life has one theme, it has been to create a process to accomplish some given objective. I've created so many of them that I cannot remember them all. I have saved my email inboxes since I started having my first email address. The other day I opened one of them with a tool that allows you to do that sort of thing. It was an inbox from the early 2000s. I decided to pick the same month in 2001, this same month in 2001, and read through my email chains. And sure enough, I was working on a process that I've long since forgotten. And by the way, the process never worked. There are a few truths that I've learned along the way. These are maxims, if you will, that I consider each and every time I try to create a new process to follow and accomplish a goal. The first one is the most important, and that is this: the process that you follow will be infinitely superior to any other process. This is a concept beat into me after years and years of failure, false starts, and abandoned plans. I have learned this the hard way, that any process you create is worthless if you do not follow it. This seems obvious to me now, but for some reason, while I was in the thick of trying to create a process, I did not consider the efficacy of the process I was working on. This is due to the fact that we always get enthralled by the possibility and potential of a process that we envision. We see possible problems and we bake into our solutions for these in our concoction we're creating. After a few rounds, we come up with a process that we believe will work. As we do this, the process inevitably becomes complex, difficult to understand, and difficult to follow. The process ends up stuck in design mode, and even initial attempts to follow it will get stymied by further tweaking and revisions. The best processes are simple and incredibly straightforward. They cut right to the objective in the straightest line possible. They take only a few moments to explain, and implementation of the process is clean and easy to do. Above all, the process needs to be one that the initial hurdle to follow is not that difficult, so that when we start, we will follow it. Simple to follow is always a better ambition than solving all the potential problems. Let me repeat that concept. When we work on a new process, the goal is not to overcome all the possible scenarios where the process will have challenges or will run into exceptions. These things will get smoothed out over time, much like a smith will beat a piece of metal slowly through heating and cooling. Our fledgling process will as well. Instead, the goal of a new process is to be something that people will actually do. You can create the perfect system that solves all potential issues, but if no one follows it, the system is worthless. A simple, clean, and easy to follow process will beat your complicated, well thought through contraption every time. I have seen this in business on a larger scale. A former company that I worked for had at its roots a very simple process: put a bunch of people in cubicles, market heavily for common products, and have these people field in the requests that come in. This scaled very rapidly, and before long, the company was one of the largest in the market. This secret sauce was not all that secret. It was just doing the essential thing well enough and then scaling it. Later, after the company became a large enterprise, well-intended people started to try to improve the company by creating processes. Over time, complicated processes sat on top of other complicated processes, creating an expensive and difficult machine to operate. People started wanting to move away from this core business model and try new things, which they have done so repeatedly over and over again. Hundreds of new processes have been created only to discontinue them after a few short months and then try something new. All the while, the harsh reality kicks in that they have never been as successful as they were in the initial model. That model did not do better because it was better. The model did well because it was simple, easy to follow, easy to implement. The objectives were clear and straightforward. There may be a better business model that will work, but I will guarantee that it will be the simple one that wins. This is because the simple is what people will follow. That is all that matters when considering what path to take. Which of these will I and the people following me stay on? That is the right path, even if the path is not as glamorous. In conclusion, the most important lesson I've learned through the years of creating and refining processes is this: simplicity reigns supreme. Complex systems often seem attractive in theory, offering solutions for every potential challenge, but they rarely survive the realities of implementation. The processes that succeed, the ones that drive real progress and lasting success, are those that people will actually follow. They are clear, direct, and unburdened by unnecessary complications. The elegance of simplicity lies in its ability to move things forward without hesitation or confusion. Ultimately, it's not about creating the perfect process, but rather the process that people will adopt, stick to, and execute. This principle applies in any context, whether you're managing a team, scaling a business, or just trying to improve a personal routine. Keep it simple, stay the course, and success will follow.